Hi everyone, Vicky here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the Valentine's YouTube hop. Hopefully, well, I'm assuming you found your way here nice and sensibly. So I'm going to be using the Concord and 9th Scattered Hearts Turnabout. I have become slightly obsessed with turnabouts, I'm not going to lie. So I thought it'd be great to show you how these work and obviously how I can use that to then make a background for a card. So when you get your turnabout, you'll get this little sheet that shows you all the different ways you can do it. So you can do it with one turn, 2 turns, 3 or 4. Obviously, the more turns you do, the more hearts you'll get. You'll get this lovely guide that just shows you obviously how to position it, and then obviously your stamp. Because if you don't get your stamp, it's not going to work very well, is it? So I'm just going to pop this onto some white background just so you can see it a bit more clearly. What you need to do is position the stamp itself over the turnabout positioning tool. So what this will do is it'll show you exactly where to line it up so that you get it perfectly centered for your turnabout. So this does take a little while, so bear with me. It is one of those where you've got to try and work it around in your head. You should be doing it so that it is stamp side down, so as if you were stamping your image onto the background. So you can see there, I've finally got it lined up. So what I do with mine is I take a ruler and a pen, and don't worry, it's not going to ruin your stamp. You are drawing on the back of your stamp. So I just take a really nice fine liner marker. If you get that lined up and then I draw that cross on the background, it just means that if I do ever lose that background guide, I'm not then going to be stuck trying to work out how on earth to position my turnabout. So I just use the ruler to make sure I get that nice and straight. As well, you don't want a crooked line, it needs to be nice and neat. Sometimes standing up over the top of it does really help as well, is another thing that I've discovered. So bear with me while I draw that line as well. As I say, don't worry, it's not going to ruin your stamp, it's going on the back of the stamp. So you should be absolutely fine, but do try and keep everything together and then you don't have that worry. But I am always preparing for disaster just in case. So I'm going to move all that packaging out of the way. And you will need a stamping tool for this. So I have my Misty. I love my Misty. I did get this nice big one for Christmas. I did have the mini originally, but this is quite a big turnabout, so you do need that bigger surface area. I also have the Concord and 9th Turnabout jig. This has been a game changer for me. It makes life so much easier. I'm all about ease, so I'm just going to get that out of its packaging as well. So this has the numbers in the corner, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, so it helps you remember where you are with your turns. And it also, if you could see there, has the corners marked out, so it has a very fine perforated cross which will line up with the cross that you've drawn on your stamp, and it also has some markings to help you with your sheets, but I digress. We'll go step by step. So if you line it up, once you've got your cross on, it doesn't really matter which way up you put it because you will be turning it. So you need to line that up with the cross underneath. I decided to take this bit of grid out just to get it lined up with that. I couldn't see it properly over the grid on my Misty background. So you need to get it lined up as accurately as is humanly possible, especially with those little crosshairs. And then what you want to do is you want to push your jig into the bottom corner of your Misty. That is your position for your jig. Whenever you turn it, that is where it'll be. And then if you close the door for your Misty or your stamping platform or a tool, whichever you're using, that'll then position the stamp perfectly for you. Now, as I was saying, they do have some positioning aids on the actual turnabout for your cardstock, and it is set to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm just using some spray. It's just repositionable even spray mount, so I'm just giving that a bit of a waft to get it set up. And you will see that on your turnabout jig itself, when you get nice and close, it does have the markings, either portrait or landscape, to position your cardstock on. Obviously you are going to be turning it, so it doesn't really make that much difference which way around you do it. I just tend to always do mine portrait to start with. It's just the way that I've been doing it, so you have to bear with me while I get that all nicely lined up. So that's it, stuck down and in position. I would make sure you, again, before every turn, put it into the corner. So for this, I am going to use some Alternate inks, and I will show you those before I stamp them. What I like about these alt new inks is they come in each little pack of the mini cubes. You get 4 shades of the same colour, so this is going to be quite a gradient look to this. So I'm just going to get that stamping on there now. So I'll show you the first couple, and then while I do the second set, I'll give you a little bit more information about this fantastic hop that you are now viewing. So just make sure you ink all of your positions up and give it a really good press down all the way across it. If it stamps on the jig, don't worry, you can clean that off nice and easy with a cloth. So clean your stamp down after each colour. You don't move your stamp. So I'm going to move on to my second colour, so I need to move that to position number 2. So number 2 is now at the top, so it's moved it around. So when I then ink this up and stamp it on, it will stamp the next colour into the next position. So I'll just show you that. And then you will be able to watch me do positions numbers 3 and 4. However, I will tell you about the hop while that's happening. So as you can see, that's stamped those ones into the second position. So this hop has been organised by the fantastic hook, line and inker, Katie. She's amazing. She is position number 1 on the hop. So if you have just came here from my page, I strongly recommend you go over to her page and work your way back through so you can start the hop at the beginning, because there will be some fantastic people on here. There is also a prize, so there are 20 videos in this hop, and if you comment on all 20 videos, you will be entered into a draw for a chance of winning a fantastic prize, which is going to be some stamps and goodies for you guys. So it's totally worth it, and obviously the videos will give you lots of inspiration as well, which who doesn't need inspiration? Sometimes I find my brain just completely and utterly runs out of information, so I find things like these hops great for that. You don't have to subscribe to all the channels, but I know personally if you would like to subscribe to my little channel, it would mean a lot. And obviously if you can just share the love with some likes and some comments on the posts, that would be great, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to everyone that's taken part. The next stop on the hop, I like that, the next stop on the hop is linked in my description below as well, so you can move on from me to the next fantastic collaborator who's working on this. I really hope you enjoy the hop, and like I say, if you share the love with everyone, it will be eternally grateful. I know that everyone will have put a lot of time and thought into what they're showing you, and just giving them a little bit of love, especially since the Valentine's themed hop, I think would be great. So I think I'm now, on to position number 4. So I'm now going to go in with my last colour, which is the darkest of the 4 in this set. I decided to use like these, I think the set itself is called Martian Terrain, which I love. It's great. It does actually kind of make me think a little bit of like the Mars atmosphere, lunar landscape. I didn't want to go with the bright pinks or the bright reds. This is a card for my significant other, the lovely Martin, who has put up with what has slowly become an entire craft shop in our spare bedroom. So thanks for that, dear. Really appreciate it. So this card is for him, and you'll see that because there is some personalisation coming up. So that is position number 4 stamped, and obviously, again, make sure you clean everything down nicely afterwards. So I'll just give you a quick little peek at that, and that is that one done. So I've cleaned up all my side, and while I had my goodies out, I decided to do a couple more. So that was with purples and pinks. This one was with some oranges, reds and yellows, and I only did 3 of the positions on that one, and then the last one was just all monochrome, so it was just one colour. So I'm trying to keep this card quite streamlined and simple. I occasionally can go a little bit overboard, so I'm trying to be relatively good with it this time. I've got my mini Misty out this time because I only need a narrower strip, and because I have cut will be cutting my card blank down to 4 by 5 1/4, so it'll fit on an A2. So these are the Concord and 9th lovely letters, capitals and standard case. So what I want to do is take the V and the M, because I'm Vicky and my other half is called Martin. So I want the V and the M to go on here, and I also want the ampersand, which is in the lowercase set. So I'm going to position those onto my banner piece of cardstock that I've got here, and I'm going to stamp these down. Now, I do end up stamping this twice. So the first time I do it, I make a slight little error. I don't position my card. My card jumps ever so slightly even with the magnet, and I didn't realise until after I'd done the second stamping. However, I do kind of like the slightly offset second generational look. So it does take me quite a while to decide which one I want to use. And then I end up using the opposite one to the one that I originally wanted to use because I make a mess of the first one. But don't even get me started. So you'll see here, as I stamp that down, I've gone ever so slightly off kilter, but it does add quite a nice little shadow to it. So my thought was I'll keep that anyway. And I do decide to make one of those lines a little bit thicker, just so that it looks slightly more purposeful rather than an accident. So you've got your chunky line and then your slightly second generation looking line. But I did take another piece of card just to be on the safe side to try and get it a little bit neater. So bear with me while I stamp it on that one as well. This one I am a bit more careful with, and it comes out really nice and neat and organised. However, I did not give my ink enough time to dry after I'd stamped it. So when I go to do my next part of the technique, I managed to smudge it with my finger, and a smudged fingerprint is not something that I can be doing with on my cards. It hurts all my kinds of sensibilities. I can't deal with it. So I end up using the other one. So that's both of them. I do like both. I think both look really funky. I did decide to use the nice crisp one to make my little border originally. So you'll see me working through my process on this. I think everyone does the same thing. You know, we all have a process and things happen. You get used to it. What I'm doing is I'm taking a black marker. It's just a plain black chisel tip, and I'm just using that to go around the edge. But as you can see there, I've managed to smudge it. So we move on to the other one. So this basically, just by outlining the edge with that marker, actually almost gives it a matted and layered look. So it looks like I've layered that onto a piece of black cardstock, and it's done much better than I could possibly mat and layer, because there's no way I could get my mats and layers that thin and neat. I did decide to do exactly the same thing onto my background as well, so that just gives that a little bit more interest. So I'm just going to go around all of that, and it just obviously ties through that look of the matting and layering with it. So bear with me while I go around that. I think I do need a new marker, not because it's run out of ink, but because I have done this on so many pieces of card. It has finally started to slightly damage my chisel tip, but never mind. I can still use the other end for writing on parcels and things. So I am going to use some wet glue to stick this down to my card blank. I would normally use a tape pen as well as some glue to try and give it even more protection and power and stick it really, really far down. Unfortunately, my tape pens all ran out, and I am waiting on my delivery with my new ones. So it's all about the glue today. I tend to open my card as well, just so that I can see the border a bit better, because sometimes if you've got your card closed, if it's not perfectly folded, it can show behind it, and it will sometimes just give you that slight extra edge that you don't want. So I wanted this banner to go slightly lower than through the middle. I didn't want it right in the centre. I thought, to be fair, that if I try to position it bang in the centre, it's never going to be bang in the centre, and it'll, again, upset my very delicate little eyes that will not cope with it. So we'll do that way. So I've just got some tape on a roll. This is from Amazon. It's 3Ms. It is the most huge roll of tape. I've been using it for ages and it's still going. It's probably one of the best purchases I've made for my craft stash in the past several months. Again, something that I got from Hook, Line and Anchor because she showed me it. Thanks, Katie. So I'm just going to centre that up with the initials, and then I'm just going to trim the excess from the sides. The other side takes a bit more effort because I can't seem to get my hands in the right position to do this, so you have to bear with me while I do this. However, I do eventually get it done. Ta-da! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my card. I really hope you've liked it. Again, I really hope you follow on with all of the people in the hop. Again, if you like and comment, you must comment on all 20 to be in with that prize draw. I hope you've liked my video, and I hope you do come back soon. Take care. Bye.